Hi Libra, this is your October 2025 reading. I'm Mystica Venice and welcome back to my channel. I want to start by clearing the energy with my symbols. Okay, I hope your month is going well so far and that the eclipse energies and the energy of the Aries full moon have been transformative for you. Let's see how these energies are affecting your October and get right into it. Angels, ancestors, spirit guides, Hecate, Kali, Persephone, please be here now and protect this space of any negative energies and give Libra guided messages for their highest divine good that they most need to hear for October 2025. All right, so let's just get right into it. Spirit, what what is Libra's position? What card most represents Libra for this month? What is Libra's energy at the current moment? What card most represents Libra? Ooh, patience. Having patience, having the need for patience. This card, it's like an angelic woman figure. I think it sometimes can be portrayed as male, but it's an angel coming down from the sky. And, they've got healing waters that are flowing and a rainbow. And so basically, this says that you're in a good place right now. It's either, it's saying that you have energy, or like right now it's like testing. I mean, you have patience, or right now it's testing your patience. You're being called to have patience at this time. Um, what energy, what challenges is Libra facing at this time? What are some of Libra's obstacles for the month of October? And I'm using this witchy deck. Success for, I'm using this witchy deck for Halloween. And then I also have this other Halloween deck I'll use to clarify. But so you got the Six of Wands. Success. So this is your obstacles, your challenge, but it seems like you're coming close to your goal. And maybe that's why you're asked to exercise patience. Let's see what else. You're so close. You've been working a long time on this. What do they say? Don't stop before the finish line. And then you have Four of Swords. Like you're really feeling the need to rest. And, this is a challenge as like you feel that you have so much to do. So many pressing things to do that you just don't think that you have the luxury um, to rest, to like take a little time for yourself. But you have to listen to your body. Oh, that's just way too many. And let yourself rest. You need to recharge so that you can be your best and like giving from a full cup, giving it your all. Because honestly, like in time management and stuff, like peak performance, you're going to do your best when you're well rested. Okay, what other obstacles? Let's see what other obstacles for Libra at this time. Oh, it's saying that like it is time for a new perspective. Like perhaps like you need clarity on something, or there's something you're not looking at or you don't want to look at in your life, and it's saying like it's time. Like these swords are getting heavy. This is becoming a heavy burden to carry. And it's saying that you're not looking at something clearly. This card, it has protection. It has those are little fairies. Or are they dragonflies? They're little fairies, but it has lavender for protection. She's like at the Mists of Avalon, it appears. She's like almost the Lady of the Lake with this crescent moon. And it's like, like being blind to these things is becoming a real burden, uh, or like not having, it can also mean like just not having clarity on a situation is a real burden. So like, I think in order to achieve the success, you're going to need to accomplish these other two things, which is the rest and clarity. Okay. And then what advice does Spirit have for you to to overcome these obstacles? How can Libra achieve these goals? Oh, goodness, that's too many. How can Libra achieve these goals? How can Libra overcome these obstacles? Okay, again, like, I feel like these two cards are so closely related, but one is like further down the path. Like, this one is saying, like, you know, like this is like a past, you feel hemmed in by a situation. Like, you feel like you can't, move out of a situation. Um, but in this card, it calls for like having the strength of mind um, to move past these limitations. Sometimes these can be self-limiting ideas, and they can also be like self-limiting. I mean, limiting behaviors, limiting people in your life, limiting situations, limiting work. It can be like anything that's like limiting you, and it's like saying that. What were the other two cards? That it's time to get this new perspective, like you are being called, and then you will achieve the success. What are these other two cards here? Oh, the Empress. So embodying the Empress is like, yeah, once you know, like try and move past some of these, or maybe this is probably something that a lot of you have already been working on for a long time. Um, you may be changing your circumstances, or it can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. This is a collective reading, and so there's messages here for a lot of people. And if you were called to the title, like, I feel like there is going to be something here for you, but yeah, so like you can always get a private reading, or you can check your rising and moon signs as well. Read those. Okay, so it's saying like embody your Empress, your nurturing nature, your you're like fertile right now of creative ideas. It's like a time of like harvesting, like all of the seeds that you've planted are now like coming to fruition. In this card, I think there is even wheat. Yeah, there's wheat here. She has the shield with the symbol of the feminine sign, and the halo crown. But yeah, so to achieve this outcome, you want to be embodying your Empress nature, and sitting in your power, and knowing how you feel, knowing what you think. Um, she doesn't battle anybody. She simply is. And then you got Page of Cups upside down. So this is it's saying to, let's see. It's saying that like you're maybe to, so the Page of Cups is a feeling of like new emotion. And this is saying either to hold back your emotion, that's weird. Um, to like to start getting in touch with your inner child more, to see like what you're feeling, really feeling on the inside. Get in touch with your new emotions about how you feel about your changing life. That's what I'm getting on that. But we're going to get into all of the different parts of your reading here. We're going to go into love, family, friends, work, finance, career, health and spirituality. So let's get a start on love. I did actually do love readings, and they're up on the channel. I did those at the start of October. They're October love readings, so check those out if you're interested. Those are for relationships. So we might pull up a little more information here. That's too many. Okay. Spirit, tell me what does Libra need to know about their love life at this time? What does Libra need to know about their love life? I have a few cards. Tell me about what's going on in the Libra love life. Okay. It's not much here. Let's see. Page of Pentacles. This is like the beginning of like a practical, reliable relationship, or getting prepared, making like practical steps to getting prepared to like find someone to be in a relationship with, like find a, you know, a person to date, to be with. But it could be, let's pull a few more cards, because this could be a new reliable relationship as well. Let's see what we got here. We got transformation. You've got the death card there, so I feel like this is like actually is you getting, you know, becoming like pouring into yourself. To become like a more well-rounded person going through this transformation. Yeah, and you have everything you need. You have the Magician to make this transformation a success. So like, you know, you may have gone through some really tough times with all these, you know, past mindsets. Like, these could be like limiting beliefs about like how you feel about yourself, or like the things that you tell yourself, like, oh, you know, I'm no good. That sucks. I wish I did better. You know, all these things. Or like, these could be like replaying old tapes of like past wounds of things other people said to you that really, like, you know, people say things, they don't mean them. People say things to push your buttons. Yeah, but it's saying here that you have the Magician. So you have like all of the elements. The Magician has, he has the cups, he has the wands, he has the swords, and he has the pentacle. So that's earth, air, fire, and water. And then he also has like this golden halo of like an infinity symbol over his head, like saying that like he can you know, like he has all of the things that he needs to alchemize his life, his situation, into like of making his dreams come true. You know, this card, this particular card, there's roses all at the top as well, symboling, you know, life and passion. Okay, so that's what I'm getting for you in love. Anything else? Is there anything? That's too many. Is there anything else that Libra needs to know about love? Yeah, you're moving on from the past, and you are transforming. So, you know, I'm sorry to hear that. You know, it's always tough going through these changing times. Let's pull a healing card on that. Some healing advice here. Give me a healing card for Libra in love. Let me get a healing card. Slow but steady, new beginnings, ancient wisdom, and changes. So slow but new beginnings and changes. So, you know, have patience like you have here. This is why you're embodying patience right now. Have patience with yourself. And these changes that are happening and these new beginnings that are starting, you know, oftentimes new beginnings bring things, confirmation that like we never even thought we would be able to do or have or, you know, embody. So then you got, what was it again? Slow but steady. Slow but steady wins the race. Like, this is not a marathon. When you're making changes, you know, in yourself and your future, you know, it's a slow thing. Like, there's no rush to this. It's like, you know, you can, like, perfect there's no way to be perfect, you know. So like, be patient with yourself, and just like, you know, the changes will come. You don't have to like force these things and like, you know, do too many like self-helpy type things, you know, unless you like really want to. But like, you know, like, you gotta at some point really just like find like acceptance, self-acceptance, and that's like really healing, you know, embracing your shadow side, going through the dark night of the soul, whatever you want to call it. At some point we have to accept ourselves, and even like with the things we don't like about ourselves, like that is just, you know, and it's not to be like complacent either, you know. It's a balance. It's a balance. So, and then it says ancient wisdom. So this to me thinks like, to me thinks, this to me thinks, I think this means like maybe you would benefit from studying, some of the mysteries or some history or family tree. Take it as you will. You know, maybe there's something that you'd like to study. So, all right. So we got that in your love. And then let's see. We're going to get into, family and friends. Let's see how your family and friends is doing. What's going on for Libra? Family and friends. Let me pull that one out. That is. Ooh. What a journey. You could be taking a trip with friends, especially after all this kind of drama that you've had. You could be moving. I mean, obviously, like, you are going in a new life direction like this. You already had that. So it can be just like a life path. It could be an actual trip. It could be like moving out of home. It could be going away for the weekend. It could be, you know. But you are going somewhere. Let's see what else we have here. Family. Let me see what's going on for Libra in family. Family. Yeah, this is happening fast. You're going and you're moving fast. You are putting down the burdens. They've gotten heavy. You're putting down the burdens. And, you know, you've got the Fool, which is like a brand new adventure. You know, the Chariot, the Fool, and the World. So it's pretty. This says to me that you are. Oh, sorry, the World as well. So to me, so the Chariot means you're going, right? And the Fool means you're starting a brand new adventure. The World is the beginning of a new chapter and the ending of an old one. Ending of a, you know, it's a cyclical thing. This often will have the Ouroboros, the snake eating his tail, and then you have like fast moving action. You know, wands are fire, so this is whatever's happening, it's happening fast, and you're putting down these burdens that like over time they've built up, and you've been resilient, you've been strong, but you're sitting there, you know, in the Nine of Wands, you're sitting there guarding the wands, looking all battered and bruised, and, you know, still like kind of shell shocked, I guess I would say that character is. And then the Ten of Wands, you know, he's like almost home. He's ready to put these down. So for whoever is watching this in your friends and family. And I actually have to, I feel that this is like piggybacking off of this love. And that's a confirmation. And whoever it is that's watching this reading is going through, or who this message is for, is going through a breakup of like love and home. Like I'm kind of feeling that like this is divorce and a new, a new life path. I don't see any children involved in this. Yeah, that's what I'm getting. Unfortunately, like that was pretty clear, so I'm not going to pull any more on that one. But I will pull you another oracle card and see what messages we have. Let me see which one. Let me do the Moonology. Do you have any advice for Libra on their family path? It says step out of your comfort zone. North Node, step out of your comfort zone. And then what else do we have here? Your commitment is being tested. What commitment? More. It's not adding up. Don't let your pride get in the way. Yeah, I'm not like picking up on what this message is, but if you resonate with this, like drop it in the comments. Let me know if that makes sense to you. And then I'm gonna just move it along here. And we're gonna look at your working career and finances. This could be, your job. It could be your career. This could be like investments or. Let's take a look. What does Libra need to know about work, career, and finances for the month of October? So many. Okay. So you have the Queen of Swords, and this is a person that's really like intelligent. They're good with their words. They're quick. They're witty, but they can also be like cold and. They can also be cold and like cutting with their words, but they can also like get through the heart of the matter and like the drama, and they're like they just are like clear cut and dry. They're like a no nonsense. So you've got the no nonsense Queen of Swords here, and then you have sorry, my roommate just got home and I could hear him. Okay. So you have this no-nonsense Queen, and then you've got the Two of Wands making plans for the future here. This one is waiting for your ships to sail in. The Two of Wands is making plans. This is waiting for your ships to sail in. So maybe you have like... You've got like this job that's sort of like, it's good, but it's sort of like, meh. Like, it's a good job. You're like waiting for like maybe an opportunity to arise within your job, but it doesn't show like a ton of action, right? And then you've got the Seven of Pentacles, which is you've got to look at how far you've come, and see if it's still worth it. Like, are you getting as much abundance out of this as you were like putting back into it? Like, is the juice worth the squeeze? Because I kind of feel like with this, like you can't just wait for something to change. And it looks like you're not going to, because you've got the King of Wands here, and this is like a very mature, action-oriented person. They've got, you know, a passion, but they also, like, you know, as opposed to the Knight, like, they don't take quite as many risks as like the Knight would, because they're like more mature. They're the king, you know, they're weighing it out, and they have strength behind them. This is like actually a really jovial fellow too. It seems like whatever this new thing is going to make you a lot happier. You'll be more passionate than cold. Like you're leaving this one behind, this job that you feel cold about. You may be good at it, but you're just not interested. And so you're sick of waiting for your ships to come in. You're thinking about how much time you've put into this, and like how much more time you need to put in this to get where you want to go. And so that's why you're like really what you want to switch and do something else, this thing that you're really passionate about. um, and like you're stepping into your high priestess, which is like just like it means that you're being really intuitive about this. You're really being really intuitive about this, like you're ready to step into a leadership position here. This is what this is saying. Like, um, you know, you have like a dualistic nature, and so like your fire balances like your intuitive side, like your, you know, passionate side balances your more reserved side, is what it's saying. Actually, in your Libra, of course, like, why wouldn't you be balanced? Like, there you are. But it's saying you're ready to step into a leadership position, which is very exciting. I love the High Priestess for you and the King of Wands. Those are both, like, really, really good characters. And I like that it's feminine and masculine. Just so well-rounded. Let's see. Pull, let me pull Enchanted Forest card on that. Sacred Forest? Enchanted Forest. Okay, what advice do you have for Libra? Ooh, in career. Wisdom. Yeah, just like, you know, whatever this thing that you're getting into with work and career, or like an investment, whatever this is, um, use your intuition, use your mind. Like, this is something that you know about already. This is not some new interest. This is something that you're like very familiar with, and you know, kind of like looks like you're finally giving it a go. Something like this, stepping into your leadership role. Yeah, the owl spirit. That's like very, very, very lucky. Um, yeah. Okay. So a couple more things. So far, this is seems like a very good month. You know, besides like, it kind of seems like this relationship trauma, like maybe has happened in September. And now it's like kind of like picking up the pieces of that, and like that can be always very hard. So make sure you're getting the help that you need and talking to friends and however you need to, you know, provide self-care for yourself in that regard. So let's get into also health. And of course, I'm not a doctor, and check with your doctor for health advice. But this is just talking about like how your energy is doing and stuff like that. So what can we see about Libra's health? How's Libra feeling this month? You can tell me a little bit about Libra health. Any advice for Libra health? Oh, doesn't want to do that. I'm not going to do health. Okay. What about spirituality? Spirituality, anything else that Libra needs to know about? Two wands, upside down. It's like making plans for the future. It's saying like you have You have the passion. You have the whole world in your hands. So you're at the beginning of your journey. Um, Tapping into, you know, the mysteries of it all. But it's an adventure. It's a good journey. I want to pull for you in closing. These are amazing. This is called the Wild. I want to say the Wild Unknown um, Oracle. These are really beautiful. So let's see. What closing advice do we have for Libra? What closing advice do we have for Libra? Oh, okay. These are really hard to shuffle. What closing advice do we have for Libra for October 2025? Okay, so, ooh, okay. This is another interesting card. The one in the desert. So, like, I mean, this talks about, like, going within. This is almost like the Hermit card. It talks about going within and finding your inner mysteries and seeing, like, what it is that really makes you tick. And, like, maybe because with the end of this relationship and, like, these changes are moving in your family, you're really having to, like, just, like, sit with yourself. And you haven't had to do that in a long time, to really sit with yourself. You know, like, this actually asks you to, like sit with yourself, go somewhere, turn off, your headphones, don't listen to a podcast, and just like sit there for like 20 minutes, take a walk, go to the beach, whatever, just like no headphones, just, or in your room, and see what comes up. Maybe you have a journal with you handy in case you have some thoughts that come up, and you can take a look at those later. I find that when I like write stuff down, it doesn't always like hit me as much as when I read it back later, and then I, come back to it, and then I sometimes can learn even more from it. And then the other card you got is the desert, and so this is saying that you feel like you're in a desert. This is a theme for the month. You feel like you're in a desert. You feel like you're in quicksand, but know that you are not alone. You know, because the sun, you know, the night, as the moon goes down and the sun rises, always, you know, um, change will happen. Like the pendulum will swing. You won't always be in the desert. Sometimes you'll be in a jungle full of bananas, or like in a beautiful forest filled with, food. Like that's what I'm saying. It won't always be a desert. And this is like, use this time in the desert, like a lot of people do, to become like one with yourself. Um, it's really like, meet yourself. Maybe even take that road trip. That could even be a sign. Take that road trip. Do that Joshua Tree trip. Anyway, yeah, this has been a really good reading. And if you made it this far, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. I'll be doing more readings. I'll be doing more energy readings in October. Yeah, and see you next month. Thank you so much.